played baseball my whole life, all 4 years of high school. And about the same time when I was in high school, I started using drugs. I started messing around with marijuana when I was around 16. And from there, it just went on to like pills, like Xanax and painkillers. At that point, the painkillers, I think, with all the pills I was using, just became a big problem. That's kind of where everything started after experimenting with it at a young age. I started realizing I had a problem when I started waking up every morning just wondering when and how I was gonna get high. I wasn't worried about work, I wasn't worried about anything, I was just wanting to get high. I started around 20, 21, using harder drugs. It got worse over the years. What my mom was on drugs, that's all I could think about. When I was 24, I started using heroin, and after that I got hooked. At first I was scared of it, but after doing it, I wasn't worried about it. I just wanted to do it over and over. I think I was around 20, I want to say 27 when I realized I needed help. I was just sick and tired of my life, and I couldn't really figure out how to fix it. A pastor and his wife offered me help. They wanted me to go to rehab, so I told them I would. But I held it off for a few days, and I went back to jail. I just got out of jail. After I got back out of jail, I was mandated. That's kind of how I found out about it, but I was already planning on going to a better way before I got locked back up. It was through church that I found a better way. I heard about it. When I pulled up to a better way, I just had a overwhelming sense of, I was nervous. I was real nervous. It was different than what I was used to, but I feel like they genuinely wanted to help me. I could feel that, so I was excited, but then again, I was nervous. I felt like everything was really strict when I went to chapel. Like I could see the order kind of a little bit better. It just kind of overwhelmed me a little bit. At that point, I was really getting to see what the place was about. Kind of got the vibe, and it was a little overwhelming because I'd never done nothing like this, but the rules, like where we couldn't talk, buttons, just little rules, and then there's some days you get wrote up for it, and some days you don't. That was my big thing. I think the hardest thing was seeing someone write me up for something that I feel like I could get away with in another house. It took me a while to overcome that because the whole time I thought I was just being picked on, but I was really in my own head. But it took me a while to get used to it. It wasn't easy by any means. Pray a lot more. I pray for other people. I pray with them now and do my devotion every morning. So I've changed. I mean, there'll be trial and error. I recommend you try to get comfortable with these rules. Don't fight them. Just try to mold yourself into them. One day at a time, and you'll start beginning to see a change after that. If I would have just submitted a little bit more and not take things, as personal, and I think the brotherhood here is very special. I believe it creates lifelong bonds. I've just had so many guys here help me with problems or questions. If I ever have something that I need to talk to, I can just pull one of the brothers aside and tell them, and they'll pray for me and talk to me about it. So yeah, it's a special bond, and it's a special brotherhood. I haven't seen anything like this. I haven't experienced anything else like this. While I was in Florida, I can remember spending my time in a prayer circle with Pastor Gilbert and Brother John. And him and them, they were going around and asking each one of us our story. I just remember telling them what my life was and how it was. But right after I got baptized, I just felt like I was a new person, kind of. I felt clean on the inside, real clean. My trip to Florida was life-changing, and it was amazing. I'll never forget it. It's just something that I can only do once in my life, and I'm glad that I got to do it. I feel like God has influenced my life by putting me in my family's life. a whole lot more, and I feel like I can be a light to others that I come across and to others in my family. Because they can see me praying and they can see the change, and I feel like that's how I changed. Everything's a lot different now for me when it comes to God and our relationship. My devotion every morning just it keeps my mind and my soul, like fresh, or it refreshes me every day, before I go out into, this world, and before I, start a new relationship with somebody or a conversation, So it keeps me on my toes a little bit. God has definitely strengthened my relationship with my family by a lot. I feel like God has brought me closer to my family more than I have ever been in my whole life, and it's a pretty big impact. It's actually been the biggest impact in my whole life. The biggest things I'm gonna take from A Better Way with me is my devotion and my prayer life. Those are the two biggest things I'm gonna take with me. A Better Way has made me a better grandson, son, brother, and Christian. Since I've came to A Better Way. Now, I know that God is number one in my life. Before I do anything, I always keep God in my heart, and I let Him lead me wherever I go. I know that God's got me, so I don't have anything to worry about, really. I truly believe that. I don't have anything to worry about. Overall, I've came a long way, and I feel like a better person on the inside.